Some days missing our loved ones is unbearable, and on other days, missing them is the only thing that makes us feel connected to them. On this episode, we're going to share a little known question that barely anyone will dare to ask that will make you feel closer to your loved ones than ever before. Your hair looks nice today.
Well, thank you. I did get it done. I went to the salon and did a bit of self-care, and Nazare came with me. It was a vibe.
Because I was on calls and I couldn't mind her, so you had to take her.
Yeah, would not have been able to mind her for that long. And turns out my hairdresser ended up being the mum of a girl I used to go to church with. So put that connection
small
together.
world.
Yeah, small world.
No, it really does look great. I can notice that it's shorter around because you got it tucked behind your ears. I can notice that it's shorter that way.
Let me pull that out for you.
Are they called bangs?
Yeah, most of the world would call them bangs. Curtain bangs.
Okay.
Because they're kind of like curtains. They sweep your face like curtains would.
Well, I'm proud of you. You deserve
thanks.
to go and get pampered.
Thanks. But what else has been happening this week?
Well, I'll speak for you. You kicked off, or you didn't kick it off, but you were part of the women's prayer getting kicked off at our church. So
Yeah, so cool.
you braved the storm to get down there.
There was a mental storm, guys. I got to leave at 5 a.m. to get down
for a
there.
5:30 a.m.
For a 5:30 start. And this
Go the
storm
ladies.
just rolled in as soon as I got in the car and followed me all the way down, flashing skies and like rain going sideways and black skies. Yeah, it was a good time. I love a good storm. So I was upset that I was heading in and I'm going to miss the storm, but we could like the whole
hear it on the
building.
roof in the church,
Yeah, the
yeah.
building just like roars with the thunder. It was cool, but it was a good, powerful time.
Other things that are going on, we've got our workshop happening this week, our grief workshop. If you're not joining us, we've got over 400 women already registered.
Yes.
They're going to be coming to connect with one another. You might meet your grief buddy on this call. We've got women from all over the world.
Totally.
We're going to be looking at foundations for healing, specifically some coping strategies and some resources available to help you start that process or take the next step on that process.
It's super practical.
So looking forward to that. We've also got in our Good Grief Club, Dr. Sean Prentice, our psychologist, coming in to share with all of our members around the brain and how we can start to organize or simplify some of our thought patterns in regards to the loved ones that we've lost. So that's going to be an amazing session too. They're both happening on the same day, so it's going to be a big day this week.
Big day for us.
But if you want to join us for the workshop, the link is below, or go to www.goodgriefhq.com/workshop. It is free to join. And if the time zone doesn't work for you, if you're in Namibia or Taiwan or somewhere,
Uzbekistan.
on the other side of us,
Yes.
we will send a replay out as long as you've registered,
Okay.
because we can send it to your email.
So get registered and then you can get the replay. But way better to be there live.
Oh, so much better to be there live. Last year,
Like everything. But
I looked at the numbers. Over 1,500 women joined us on our workshops around the world. So you are in a safe place.
Yeah.
And it's also just one of the best, most uplifting places you can be, surrounded by other people.
Absolutely. Yeah, we get awesome feedback from it. And ladies are just so glad that they joined. So if you can, be there. We'd love to see you.
Totally.
Yeah.
But today, people are probably wondering,
Yes.
what is the question that is going to draw them
question?
closer to their loved one? This question is one that when we ask it, it actually invites them back into the room with us. We can often feel distant in our grief. We can feel lost and alone. But I think this question, you can receive it on a day where it's really helpful. You can receive it on a day that brings you to tears and you feel their loss more. But nevertheless, it's good to ask.
Absolutely. It's good to ask and feel and remember.
And hear from others. So we're going to do some of that.
Yes.
So without further ado, are you going to reveal the question?
Are we going to reveal it now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why not? Did you have something else on your mind?
No, I thought you were going to keep them dangling a little bit further, but
Well, we've got to get into
we do.
what we're going to share.
No, we do. That makes total sense. So the question is, what do you miss most about them? Simple as that.
What do you miss most about them? What we're going to share are 3 things that each of us miss most about our parents. And then we've also asked our community this as well. And so we're going to share some of their responses as well. And what I find with this question is that, first of all, some days missing them is unbearable. And other days it's the only thing keeping us connected to them. So this question, like I said at the start, can prompt us to go into pain, but it also can prompt us to go into a place of connection as well. So when we say, what do you miss most about them? We're going to answer it from a place of things that we actually shared with them, not necessarily future things that we missed having with them.
Sure.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So for example, you might say, I missed having ice cream with them because I used to do that often, versus I missed having them at my wedding.
Gotcha.
Right?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Or I'm going to miss having them play with my kids. Different
So things
perception.
that they did or that you did together that you miss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
And you could find that really easy. You're like, oh, I 100% know, the top things that I miss about them. Or you can find that really hard because there was just so many things.
Yeah. And I guess the answer that we're not going to give is just everything, because of course we miss everything most about them.
And it might be different things on different days.
Totally. As different, seasons or anniversaries come up, you used to do certain things or remember. So let's start by sharing sort of
Ours, yeah.
top 3, and then we want to share some of the things from our community as well. I'll let you go first.
Okay. My top 3 that I've thought of today is I miss my mum's advice and encouragement. Like, now that we've got a child, I just know she just would know so little about so much. Does that make sense?
No. She would know so little about
Not
so
so
much.
little. Okay. She would know a little about a lot.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Said differently. So little. Not so little. She knew a little about a lot. She researched things, and you could just be like, hey, Mom, what this is wrong with me. What should I do? And she would just know things. And so I miss that about her, and not being able to go to her for that. And along with that, just her encouragement on things. She was just always able to encourage me no matter what was going on, or even if I didn't know I needed encouragement, she could just sense it, and she was just so good at writing a letter or a sticky note or a card or something, or a text message, just when I needed it. She always had good things to say. So she was a deep writer. Like I've said before in podcasts, I appreciate a good card because my mum was really good at writing well thought out, encouraging cards. So
yeah, that's beautiful.
It's one of yours.
Way to start it.
Yeah.
Right at the top. Honestly, I kind of think this is at the top of my list, but I miss my dad's hugs. And even as a grown adult, I miss his hugs. Like when I was 23, when he died, I'd still give him a hug and a kiss on the cheek. And that was normal in our household. And I miss the feeling of his cheek. He was always clean shaven, unlike me. But I remember how soft his cheeks were when I'd give him a kiss. And I remember the embrace behind my back because he was shorter than me. So I remember that feeling underneath my arms. And I miss that when I would leave the house or when I'd come home so much. Or before I'd go to bed, I'd give him a kiss and a hug. And that was just normal in our house. And I just miss that so, so, so much. And even just this week, Shelley in our Good Grief Club, she said sometimes a hug speaks more than 1,000 words. You know, it's all you need to say.
Absolutely. Yeah. I get people tell me I give good hugs, and I got that from my mum as well. Yeah.
You do give great hugs.
She yeah, that was actually one of mine as well.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, it's my third one, but yeah. No, I definitely do miss her hugs. She was very intentional with her hugs, and she was one of those ones that found out about the 8-second hug or whatever it is, and would just, you know, hold you tight, and it was a healing hug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it releases oxytocin when you hug for 8 seconds or longer. I am no scientist, but trial it. And trial a 30-second hug. It feels great.
Yeah.
It feels great. So
after 30 seconds, you're like, I could just stay here. This feels nice.
okay, what's your number 2?
Well, hugs, I guess, was my number 2.
You said 3, so.
Well, it was 3. Do you want me to skip ahead?
While we're at it.
All right. I miss her ability to just make me laugh in any moment. Like, and normally it was about silly things, so it's to lighten the mood or whatever. She was just so good at laughing at herself and bringing people into that. Yeah. Her laugh was infectious. Like I've said to you, I'll catch myself laughing like her sometimes, like a little I'm not even going to try and do it now. I won't pause.
Don't reenact a laugh.
Yeah, no, I know. But just so cheeky, and I find myself doing this cheeky little laugh sometimes.
Which I recognize now as your mum's laugh, even though I've never heard that laugh. Man, our parents are so similar in that regard. Like, Dad could laugh at himself. I can laugh at myself for stupid things that I do, but I can't laugh in that sense of like a joke that I tell and just laugh at it. You know?
Remember the other night in bed when I just lost it laughing because I said something and I thought, I'm really funny.
Yes.
And I was belly laughing, like losing my breath laughing.
I think it got a special mention a few podcasts ago.
Oh, did it?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, second mention. There you go. It was that good.
Okay, so you've got advice, hugs. I've got hugs. My second one was support. And so similar to advice, you know,
advice and encouragement.
Dad was my mentor and coach in so many different areas of life. And so I really miss having those conversations about the bigger or the deeper things of life. And I feel like, you know, you don't know when death's knocking on your doorstep. And so you do take the time for granted and conversations for granted, but you don't know any differently. And so if I could wind back the clock, I would ask deeper questions. If I could bring him back, I would ask the questions now that I wish I had have asked then. But it's perplexing because on one hand, you weren't mature enough to think about asking those questions. On the other hand, you hadn't been through that level of loss or grief before, so life didn't seem as finite as it actually is. And so just reflecting on that this week, we've got some people in our world that we want to ask some more of those bigger questions, some tougher questions about what they believe, what they think, how they feel about certain things, why they show up in those ways and not other ways. And I think that's what death does. It brings, like under a magnifying glass, it brings the important things into focus. And then it's on us to act on those things moving forward.
Yeah, totally.
A little bit of a side tangent, but that all came from the advice and the support. Dad was my biggest supporter. I miss that about him.
Did you have a third?
I only had one dad. No, did I have a third option? Yes, I did.
Yeah.
I haven't got it written down, so it's blanked me.
You lost it.
Yours?
Oh, my third was the hugs. I've done my 3.
See, I'm way out of it today.
Yeah.
So advice, hugs.
You got a crook neck. And laughing.
And laughing, true.
Yeah.
I do have a crook neck. Just before this episode, FYI, Kaylee hooked me up with a tens machine and I had it on 11, just as much as I could take. My neck was like twinging like a zombie.
So it does stop like oxygen to your brain, so you let off.
Tens machine does.
No, a crook neck.
Oh, far out. I'm going, no wonder I can't think straight. I had that on for an hour. I had it on high.
No, tens machine releases
A crook neck
your muscles.
stops oxygen to the brain. Got it. Okay. Hug, support. Oh, I've got it.
Otherwise, I'm going to say something for you.
No, it was like I loved when I was quite young and Dad would take us to school. He'd always pray with us in the morning on the way to school, and then he'd encourage each of us to pray. And so I loved his faith, his solid faith. And I love that he would pray in all circumstances. I love that he would pray for customers and clients of his. I love that he'd pray for family and that he wasn't ashamed of his faith. And that's definitely something that I want to continue, you know, because of him, but also because of myself and my relationship with God. But yeah, I loved that about him.
Yeah, so sweet. We're trying to do that more and more, aren't we?
Yeah, totally.
It's a good way to think of the special things our loved ones were and are, and how to bring that into our world.
Totally.
And that just brings them closer.
Yeah. It's because when we ask what we miss about them, we invite them into the room, even if it's only for a fleeting moment. And what loss feels like is an eternal separation. But that only happens if we stop talking about them and we stop inviting them into conversations and we stop pouring out our love and affection for them. So when we ask, what do you miss most about them? Think of it as an invitation to bring them back into the room, as if they were here right now. And I think when we look at it from that angle, it can have a much more healing effect on our lives
than a hurtful one. Yeah. Beautiful. Let's hear what some of our Facebook group members said.
Yeah, so we asked this in our Facebook group. Such a mixed, bag of responses, from ladies just commenting everything, totally agree, to like very specific, simple things, and then everything in between.
Yeah. I find that a lot of them have said the small, unassuming things, just the everyday little things that you actually might have found annoying, but now you miss it. You'd do anything to hear them say that or do that thing one more time. And
I don't know about you, but as I was reading through these different comments and thoughts and memories, a lot of them, switched on memories that I had, with Dad and other friends and family that we've lost. And I was like, oh, I forgot about that moment or that memory or that adventure or that small thing. So
yeah, like I could have said so many more things about Mum today, but we'll save it for another time.
That's it.
Yeah.
Right.
So one of our members, Ashley, said, I miss listening to my mum ramble on about the same thing, which obviously could be annoying. You could have maybe found that annoying back in the day or whatever, but
now you
miss it. Now you appreciate it. I miss being able to call her when my kids are sick and I need her advice. So yeah, totally relate to that. Kim says, I miss my daughter's texts. Some in the middle of the night. I would wake up to a message almost every morning. Like just those unassuming things that you just do naturally and
things that
every
seem
day.
Insignificant.
Yeah.
Isn't it funny how things change in significance after we lose somebody?
Yes.
So things were insignificant, they die, and then all of a sudden they become crazily significant to us. A taste, a book that we'd never read, but they read it or they bought it at least. So now it's the most important thing in the world, or the cup that they drank from, or their clothes, how they hung in the wardrobe, or their toothbrush sitting by the vanity, all those things, so insignificant. while we're with them until they die, and then everything becomes the most important thing ever.
Yeah, it's like our loved ones, the things we miss about them and their belongings. They like 100x in value once they're gone. Just like an artist, when they die, their paintings and their artworks become so much more valuable because they're not around to do any more of those things. So they become way more valuable.
That's so good. And it's like they left their artist impression on our world.
Yeah, their legacy.
Totally.
Their imprint.
And then I guess what makes it so difficult is they left their impression on us and the art that they created all around us, but others can't see that art the way we see it. And I guess that's why the value to us is so high, but maybe the value to others isn't as high, just like art. I think that's a great analogy.
Yeah, I'm going to expand upon that a little bit more. So just like if you did art in school, you look to, or you have mentors, people that give you
I failed art in school, just by the way. Grade 12, final year of high school, fail, big F. And I've confronted my teacher since then, and she didn't believe me. She went and looked at the records, and she was like, crap, I failed Ryan. Yeah, there you go.
Back to my analogy.
Yes, sorry. Had to share that. You knew it was coming.
Yeah, okay. So what are they to us? They give us, they're like a muse, you know, they inspiration.
Inspire us.
Yes,
Yep.
They inspire us, these artists that we look to, and because they've put an impression on the artist industry, and that's like our loved ones. They've left an impression and their artistry on our lives, and that inspires and molds us and how we live out our life. So it's like our life, our days ahead are like a blank canvas, but it's got the impression and the inspiration of their artistry that they left on our life.
It's so good. I love that.
You like that?
I do love that. Yeah. We could just turn this podcast into an art episode.
Great hobby to pick up while you're grieving, by the way. Something creative is super good for healing.
And there's a quote that says, good artists create, great artists steal.
Oh.
And so, hey, while you're listening to this, feel free to steal any of these ideas. That's what this podcast and Good Grief is all about.
100%.
Getting back to our question, what do you miss the most about them in our group? I want to read 3 responses from these ladies and what they missed. Edelyn said, I miss everything with my dad. Having coffee together while watching my mum gardening. I love that. Planning the Christmas menu, telling him about all my work drama, watching MasterChef together, him telling me to wear his big jacket to work when it rains, literally everything. So I love that. And again, I just love those seemingly small things. Watching a TV show together or watching mum. Tammy said, I miss the way my husband could make me laugh, and I miss our Bible discussions. There are so many things I would like to tell him. I feel the same way.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have more Bible discussions with Dad.
Same with my mum.
And then finally, Cheryl, I miss cooking a new recipe and my dad being the first person I called to tell him how good it tasted.
Oh, same.
Would put a plate aside for him and mum, but I always looked to him to tell me whether I did a good job cooking it. He taught me how to cook, and we were both big foodies. I also miss Sunday afternoon coffee chats. I would visit my parents and sit with him and have coffee and let him just ramble on about whatever he wanted. And so there you go. That's the second mention of just rambling on.
Yes.
Multiple coffee chat mentions and also Bible discussions.
Yeah. I got one more from Megan. She says, I miss my dad's laugh and his hugs. His quiet, unassuming nature, the way he cleared his throat before he talked, the way he would sit thoughtfully before he'd give you advice, his jokes, everything, just everything.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So as we sort of bring this episode to a close, asking yourself that question, what do you miss the most? it may be difficult internally just to reflect on that, but when you're in a community where you're able to share that and see how others feel so similarly and have experienced different things, you're definitely in a place of feeling less alone in that environment. So we'd encourage you, come join our community. The links should be all below, or come join the workshop happening in a couple of days' time.
Yes,
We'd love to have you there. And when it comes to grief, it's in asking the right questions that we find the pieces of our loved ones that we thought we'd lost along the way. So we want to continually prompt you with deeper questions, thoughtful questions,
absolutely,
ways for you to reflect on your loved one, so that those pieces don't just get lost under the rug or under the couch and out the window.
Swept up.
That's it. So
hope this has been helpful. Hope you've gone for a little walk down the garden path of memory lane and picked up some flowers along the way. Some good memories and some things that you can think about and hold on to. That's enough from us today. We're going to wrap up here.
We'll see you on the workshop. Woo! Big love.
Big love.
Ciao.